So I am super fired up about this. John Gruden is reportedly, potentially, maybe just maybe, on his way back to a head coaching position. Now, John Gruden was essentially canceled when he was the Vegas head coach in the 2021 year. Some unprofessional emails containing homophobic and misogynistic remarks were leaked during the Dan Snyder investigation. And I don't know, man. It was just a very fishy kind of ordeal, to say the least. Like, I don't know. I just feel like John Gruden had a target on his back for a while, and they finally used the smallest breadcrumb to finally get him. I feel like if they really wanted any coach out in the NFL, they really could get it done. Everyone has skeletons in their closet. I don't care who you are. No one is a saint. So, from that perspective, I definitely felt for John Gruden. I mean, come on. He's just a really entertaining guy. Always has been. And I'm not saying he's a perfect guy either. I'd have to go back and look at the details of those emails. I'm not saying he should be the mayor or anything like that, but listen, we all make mistakes. Who cares? It's over. He belongs in the NFL. Super Bowl champion with the Buccaneers. Everyone loves Chucky. Come on now. Now, in this past offseason, the New Orleans Saints reportedly spoke with John Gruden about adding him to the Saints staff in January. He could have taken the offensive coordinator job for the Saints if he wanted it, but apparently he chose against it, which is pretty interesting in my opinion. I wonder why. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, just off the top of my head, it's because of Derek Carr. John coached Carr when he was the Raiders head coach, and of course, Derek Carr was the QB, and I'm sure he didn't want to deal with Derek Carr again. So that's probably why he didn't take that job. And I remember back in the day, Derek Carr was really fired up to buy a house right next to John Gruden when they both were living in Vegas. And I just remember so many reports of those two just having such a forced, happy, positive relationship, and it was just so transparent from day one that they did not get along. And I gotta be honest, I'm not a big Derek Carr guy. I know most people aren't, but that's probably why John Gruden did not take that job, which makes a lot of sense. Now, John Gruden's total head coaching record is 117 and 112, with a Super Bowl ring in 2002 with the Buccaneers. Now, as of today, the Bears, the Jets, and the Saints have head coaching positions that are open. I expect the Jaguars to be in the mix, maybe the Colts as well, and so on and so forth. But I would definitely expect John Gruden to interview for the Saints head coaching position. I don't know if Derek Carr is going to be there for the 2025 year. If he is, then I don't think John Gruden would take that job. I might be wrong. He might take it anyways, but I feel like that question is definitely going to come up in the interviews for sure. Now, I like John Gruden. I don't think he should go to the Jets. I just don't think that would work. And it would be kind of weird if the Jets were interested in him as well. Because even though I am a John Gruden fan, I don't think he's like a top tier coach at this point in time anymore. He could be. Maybe he really took a hard look in the mirror the last 2-3 years, and maybe he adjusted some things. Maybe he, is ready to tweak some things when he gets his new gig. I'm not sure, but really his time with the Raiders wasn't all that impressive, especially since it was a 10-year, $100 million contract. Him and Mike Mayock definitely didn't make the best football decisions, to say the least. but I still like him as just a character in the NFL. So for the Jets to really be already interested in Rex Ryan and Ron Rivera and potentially John Gruden, that would just be really odd behavior. Like, what are they targeting? The best head coaches from like 2010, like it just that would just be really weird. Like I don't get that and even if they are, that operation is just a dumpster fire. Now him with the Chicago Bears, I don't know if that would be a good fit either. I don't know if him and Caleb would get along. They kind of seem like polar opposites to a certain extent. I feel like Caleb kind of needs like a cushy, laid back kind of head coach. I know he has some experience with Cliff Kingsbury. I feel like that would be a good fit. We don't really know what Ben Johnson's head coaching style is like just yet. Mike Vrabel seems like a pretty chill guy for the most part. So I feel like one of those guys would be a better fit than John Gruden. John Gruden, of course, fiery, feisty guy. And Caleb, whatever he does off the field is his thing. But, he's gone viral for painting his nails and being kind of feminine and whatnot. And that's okay. Like, that's cool. I don't care about that. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to leadership, when it comes to building a locker room and a culture, everyone kind of needs to be on the same page to a certain extent, and especially the leaders of that team. Head coaching, quarterback, it's a must. They need to be on the same page. They need to get along. And if I were a betting man on this sort of scenario, I would not bet on Caleb and John Gruden really meshing well, to say the least. You let me know if you agree with me, and where do you want to see Chucky go? New Orleans, New York, the Saints, the Jets, the Jaguars potentially. That's another good spot. I feel like him on the Jacksonville Jaguars would be good, and I'm sure he would want to go down there too. Who wouldn't want to live in Florida and get paid a lot of money? Who knows, maybe he could turn Trevor Lawrence around, and maybe that's what Trevor Lawrence needs, Maybe he needs a feisty, fiery guy in his ear to fire him up, because I'm not too sure about Trevor Lawrence's leadership. I just haven't seen a lot from him in that department. But then again, I'm just a dude watching from afar. I'm not in the team facilities. I'm not at practices every day, but that's just what I've seen and what I've read from everything I've seen from Trevor Lawrence. So I feel like John Gruden on the Jags would be pretty decent as well. Overall, man, I just want to see Chucky back in the league. I did not like how he went out in 2021. I thought it was bogus. I don't want to say it was unfair, but it was just like, come on, bro. Like, everyone has a messy past to a certain extent. Nobody has a complete, clean past. You know what I mean? So hopefully he does get a job. I think that'd be a lot of fun. You let me know if you agree with me. Are you a fan of Chucky? Where do you want to see him go? Let me know. I'm curious. If you made this far, please subscribe and like the vid. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
There's a difference. When you play zone, you drop back and you watch the quarterback and you react to the football. When you're playing man-to-man, all you're worried about is where that receiver goes. You try to shadow him, look for the football, and try to make a throw.
And he's taken down, but not until he picks up the first. That is how you draw it up, isn't it, Bill?
Oh, man, a quarterback loves guys that can make catches like this, and they're just so strong. They know how to zero in. They never lose concentration, and you never see him drop a pass. Ivory.